According to reports, the 49ers have signed linebacker Elvis Dumervil to a 2-year deal. The 33-year-old had 3 sacks in 8 games last season for the Ravens before being released by the team in March. B-Mike, I ask you, do you think Dumervil still has enough left in the tank to help the 49ers on D?
Yeah, I think so. He's 33, you mentioned that. The last 2 years he's been dealing with injuries, and therefore he has not been as productive as the Elvis Dumervil we've grown to see throughout his professional NFL career. But I also like this move, Clement, not just from the on-the-football field production, but in the locker room.
Okay.
You look at what the San Francisco 49ers currently have going on, especially with the pass rushers. The last 3 first-round overall selections, they play on the defensive line. You got Solomon Thomas from this past NFL's draft. The last 2 most recent NFL drafts, you have DeForest Buckner, and you also have Eric Armstead. So you have young, talented defensive lineman, but now you bring in a proven guy, a guy that has been to 5 Pro Bowls. He's had a 17-sack season in his career. This is a guy that can mentally get into these young players and get these guys to understand what it takes to be a professional on and off the football field. So you pair up Elvis Dumervil with Navarro Bowman. You have quality leadership skills in that locker room, and especially on the defensive side.
So for you, it's not even about production so much as it is about mentoring and maybe establishing a culture. When you have a new head coach and a new GM, you want to establish, some winning habits. And this is a guy that certainly has won and a guy who has shown the ability to work hard. Because for me, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, he's kind of an undersized pass rusher, right? Like 5'11", but he maximizes what he does, maybe by technique or maybe effort, and maybe that's something he could pass along to these young guys.
Oh, no question. Work ethic is something that young players learn, especially coming from the collegiate level and then entering the NFL level, because it's night and day from what they saw there on Saturdays. But you look at what Elvis Dumervil has been able to do, being known to be that Dwight Freeney type when you look at his body structure, his size, his measurables. But this is a guy that was able to defy all odds, make it to 5 Pro Bowls, like I said earlier, and then you pair him up mentally, because I still think he can be productive on the football field. But I think he can add another quality dimension to this team, just being able to mentor the young players. Remember a few years back when Dwight Freeney signed on late with the Atlanta Falcons, and many felt like, well, Dwight Freeney, he may not be that Pro Bowler that we've seen throughout his career, but he was able to be productive, but he was also to tune in the skills of Vic Beasley. And we saw what Vic Beasley was able to do this past year, leading the NFL in sacks. This could be a move. John Lynch, he's a very, very smart individual. Not to mention, he's been hands-on with Elvis Dumervil because they played 2 years together in Denver. So he understands what type of player this is. This guy is on and off the football field. He's familiar with him, and he understands, you know what, Elvis? I need you to be a beast on the football field, but also in the film room. Get these guys to understand what they need to see and learn to be a better player on the football field.
You would have to think that prior relationship, as you mentioned, from Denver between Lynch and Dumervil played a role in this signing.
No question.
120 Sports, we have all your updates. We're always on demand.